England, a land of green hills and ancient traditions, but also of secrets and shadows. Beneath the familiar history lies a darker England, where stories of hardship and terror have shaped the nation in ways rarely discussed. Today, we journey into this hidden world, peeling back time to reveal chilling truths buried beneath the surface. Let us begin our descent into the dark side of England. In the 14th century, the Black Death swept across England, arriving silently on merchant ships. Villages vanished, fields went untended, and between 40 and 60% of the population perished. The social order collapsed, funeral bells fell silent as there were too few left to ring them. Fear gripped the land. Every cough could mean death. The plague was the great leveler, sparing no one, and its aftermath shattered the feudal system, empowering survivors. The Black Death left a scar on England's soul, echoing through centuries. It was a horror that changed the nation forever. The Tower of London, royal palace, fortress, and, most infamously, a place of execution. To be sent to the Tower was to face near certain death, its stones soaked in the dread of the condemned. Here queens like Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard met the executioner's blade, and traitors entered through the traitor's gate, rarely to emerge. The Tower's history is written in blood, a monument to the brutal politics of a ruthless age. Its legacy is one of suffering and fear. England's castles are more than relics. They're haunted by centuries of tragedy. Chillingham Castle's Blue Boy, Windsor's ghostly Henry VIII, and Anne Boleyn's headless spectre are just a few of the restless souls said to linger. These tales, whether supernatural or not, reveal how intense, human suffering leaves a mark. The past's emotions, fear, sorrow, rage, become part of these ancient halls. In England, history truly haunts the present. December 1952, London was smothered by the Great Smog, a toxic fog born from coal smoke and stagnant air. The city ground to a halt, visibility dropped to inches, and life indoors was no escape from the choking haze. For 5 days, Londoners struggled to breathe, and the true horror emerged as undertakers ran out of coffins. Over 12,000 died, and more than 100,000 fell ill. The disaster forced the nation to confront the deadly cost of pollution. The Clean Air Act of 1956 was born from this tragedy. The Great Smog remains a stark warning from history. In 1888, London's East End was gripped by fear as Jack the Ripper stalked the night. His brutal murders exposed the city's darkest corners, and his identity remains a mystery. The Ripper's legend grew with taunting letters and gruesome crimes, never solved despite massive investigations. He became a symbol of the darkness lurking beneath civilization. The Autumn of Terror endures as one of history's most chilling mysteries. The witch trials of the 16th and 17th centuries unleashed paranoia across England. Accusations, often rooted in superstition or personal grudges, led to torture and execution, especially for women. Matthew Hopkins, the witch-finder general, exploited the hysteria, sending hundreds to their deaths. The witch hunts were a dark stain where fear triumphed over reason. Innocence was no defense in an age ruled by suspicion. The Industrial Revolution's progress was built on the backs of children. Forced into factories and mines, some as young as 4, they faced brutal conditions, long hours, and constant danger. Many were orphans, sold into virtual slavery, deprived of education and hope. Reformers fought for decades to end this exploitation. The suffering of these smallest laborers was the hidden cost of England's economic boom. Justice in Old England was public and brutal, a theater of pain meant to terrify. Stocks, pillories, flogging, and mutilation were common punishments, while executions drew crowds. The most infamous was being hanged, drawn, and quartered, a gruesome warning to all. These spectacles revealed a society where authority was absolute and life was cheap. Public suffering was the price of order. Beneath London lies a hidden world: tunnels, crypts, and lost rivers. Some passages served as escape routes or smuggling corridors, others hid persecuted priests. The city's lost rivers, now buried, still flow beneath the streets. This subterranean labyrinth is a silent witness to centuries of secrets and crime. London's true history runs deep, right under our feet. In 1612, Pendle Hill became the site of England's most infamous witch trial. Family rivalries and superstition spiraled into accusations, with testimony from a 9-year-old sealing the fate of 10 victims. Folk magic was twisted into evidence of evil, and neighbors turned against each other. The Pendle trials show how fear and authority can destroy lives. Even children were not spared from the hysteria. Medical progress in the 18th and 19th centuries fueled a grisly trade: body snatching. The resurrection men exhumed corpses for anatomy schools, terrifying the public and prompting families to guard graves. The trade peaked with murderers like Burke and Hare, who killed to supply bodies. Outrage led to the Anatomy Act of 1832, ending the illicit market. The pursuit of knowledge came at a macabre cost. In the 1970s, Highgate Cemetery became the center of a modern vampire panic. Reports of a tall, dark figure and dead animals sparked media frenzy and rival vampire hunters. Hundreds stormed the cemetery, blurring folklore and hysteria. The Highgate vampire became a legend of urban myth and mass imagination. Even in modern times, old fears find new forms. In Georgian and Victorian England, debt could mean imprisonment in notorious places like Marshalsea. Prisoners had to pay for their own food and lodging, creating a cruel hierarchy inside. The destitute suffered in squalor, often dying of disease and starvation. Debtors' prisons trapped people in poverty, punishing misfortune with misery. It was a system that valued property over human life. Victorian asylums promised refuge but often delivered neglect and abuse. The definition of insanity was dangerously broad, and many were committed for reasons we'd now consider normal. Treatments ranged from misguided to cruel. Ice baths, restraints, and worse. Bedlam became a byword for chaos and suffering. The asylum's shadow is a tragic legacy of misunderstood good intentions. In 1483, two royal brothers vanished in the Tower of London, their uncle Richard III seizing the throne. The boys were never seen again, and their fate remains one of England's greatest mysteries. Skeletons found centuries later may be theirs, but proof is elusive. The story endures as a tragic, cold case of power and betrayal. The princes in the tower haunt English history. England's highways once belonged to the highwaymen, dashing dangerous robbers like Dick Turpin. Their exploits became legend, but the reality was violence and fear. The myth of the gentleman thief masked brutal crimes. The rise of police and banking ended their reign, sending most to the gallows. The highwayman's legend outlived his lawless age. Anne Boleyn's rise and fall changed England forever. Her marriage to Henry VIII led to the break with Rome, but failure to produce a male heir sealed her doom. Falsely accused and swiftly condemned, she faced the executioner's sword with dignity. Her death was a turning point in English history. Anne's story is one of ambition, betrayal, and tragedy. The Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed the medieval city in 4 days of chaos. Flames leapt from house to house, melting lead and exploding stone. Thousands lost homes, and iconic buildings like St. Paul's Cathedral were reduced to ruins. From the ashes, a new London rose, rebuilt, modernized, and forever changed. The fire's devastation paved the way for a new city. Spring-heeled Jack terrorized Victorian England with his devilish appearance and supernatural leaps. He attacked lone women, breathing fire and vanishing into the night. Theories ranged from demon to prankster, but he was never caught. Public panic and wild stories made him a legend of the industrial age. Spring-heeled Jack remains one of England's strangest mysteries. For centuries, Tyburn was the stage for public executions, a grim festival of death. Crowds gathered to watch prisoners hanged from the massive gallows, sometimes 20 at once. The spectacle was both entertainment and warning, with families and surgeons fighting over the bodies. The short drop meant slow, agonizing deaths. Tyburn's legacy is a reminder of justice's darkest rituals. Plague pits, mass graves for victims of the Black Death and Great Plague, lie hidden beneath modern England. Bodies were dumped in haste, layered with quicklime, and forgotten as cities grew above them. Construction projects still uncover these silent reminders of past horrors. Today, people walk and live atop these unmarked graves, unaware of the history below. The dark past is quite literally beneath our feet. Our journey through England's shadows reveals a history of struggle, fear, and resilience. These stories remind us of life's fragility and the enduring impact of the past. By remembering the darkness, we better understand the present. History's echoes shape our world in ways we may not see. Until next time, remember, history is everywhere.